Well, speaking of fun, somebody that we're about to bring on is all about fun. She is raising consciousness in so many incredible ways. I had the blessing to stay with her for a few days when I was in Sedona, and I watched there's like this constant flow, Deborah, of people coming through Zenka's house. And they were like doing everything, they'd have blindfolds on, and they were like, learning how to, experience life without, basing it on, just their own visual senses, and just so much going on that she's doing. And it's all with fun. So you're like the funnest person I know, Zinka. You really are. You're
Awesome.
like a 5-year-old with a 5-year-old's joyfulness and curiosity, with the wisdom of a wise woman, and a lot of and she's always into like the newest thing, right? Uh,
Oh,
all these bent spoons, a lot of bent spoons in your house. So, Rev Deb, what do you want to share about Zenka?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's not just that she's fun, is also how smart she is.
Yeah.
And, it was Desiree Hertak who introduced Zenka to us. And she kept telling me, you have to meet this woman, and she's going to open her house to host a party for us when we're doing our gathering in Sedona, and she's going to be on the tech track. I was like, what, really? So let me tell you a little bit about Zenka. Zenka Caro is founder of LightNet, which is a citizen science research platform and search engine for consciousness. Did you get that? She's a futurist and strategist focused on scaling global consciousness. She's an expert in mind-matter interaction, including spoon bending and contact ham radio research. And she's been working in the frontier of technology for more than 20 years, even though she looks really young. And she's been running software development companies. Zenka is a very inspirational speaker, I can attest to that, and an expert in whole systems thinking, human-centered design, and augmented reality. Her nonprofit LightNet tracks miracles, looks for patterns, and invites the world to join in. And you can see all of that at lightnet.org. Welcome, Zenka. Thank you for being with us this evening.
thank you so much, Deb. It's great to be with you, and it's great to be with all of you that are here tonight watching in the various different channels that you're watching at the very different times that you're watching, because you guys are all part of the HoloMovement. The HoloMovement is this aha moment, is this curiosity to say, like Claire and Mark talked about, there's a truth that's stronger than anything else. And it's the love we have for each other. And it's this strange paradox that we're individuals, but we're one thing at the same time. And it's looking for all the opportunities of how that can expand on the earth through everything, like Scott said, through everything you guys are doing, whether it's like singing as you take a walk in the morning, or whether it's like Deb organizing this massive conference with different leaders coming in to think about what's next. So I want to talk a little bit about what the HoloMovement means, and I want to talk about a couple examples, and I want to talk about my contribution as well, which is how we can move this forward into a practical sense. One of the things that you guys were asking about is like, what is, how do we talk about the HoloMovement? What is it? And sometimes I think about, someone said this, Marilyn Gawicki yesterday in an interview, she said, oh, the world around you is in the past because it's already been created. It's like, wow. So yeah, like we can see the world from inside out. So your inner state, and you can see this in your immediate life more readily, but it's also happening on a large scale. So this is an inside job, right? Part of this is definitely an inside job, and the way that we are, the way that Scott's a great example of how his presence and his peacefulness and his joy and his love has created this entire global peace tribe around the world. And that's essentially what we're all doing, right? That's what you're doing by being here. You're creating kind of a domino effect. We can also look at it in an outside in, you know, when you're in those meetings and people are fighting, you're in those like organizations or whatever it is where there is definitely disagreement going on. Well, I had this experience where I was doing a listening circle with a small number of people. And I was so blown away by the experience because I was like, wow, everybody's speaking my mind. That guy's speaking that part of my mind. This person is saying that I was scared and I was. And this person, you know, everybody was talking about their own experience, but it was parts of me that were also feeling that way. So sometimes when we are in these sticky situations in life, we've got to remember to have compassion. Because if we are one thing, then it's just part of us, right? That's having that confusion or that friction toward getting more open to receiving more love. And we have all sorts of frictions that. I want to talk about Claire and Mark's statement that yes, if we turn off the TVs, and my research has found out, we are awakening, you guys. This is happening. Like everything is, you look at the trends, you look at the Reddits, all our movement is building, and it's building faster and faster. You look at these Reddit sites, veganism and meditation is like spiking more than Disney, right? It's like, you know, you go look at spiritually awakened, you know, this is what's happening. We're almost there, you guys. So there's some temper tantrums happening, but if we step back and really look at the numbers, we can rest assured that this is a wave that's filling the world. And I will also say that, you know, when I studied awakening, I found that people awaken through tragedy and injury, like predominantly. And then we awaken through maybe movies and other things. So this, you know, we talk, you know, you guys, oh, the world's messed up and it's tragedy, but that's the blessing that awakens everything else, right? So there is a blessing, there's a silver lining in the confusion that might be happening. And I always say that the world is getting better if you step back again. I mean, women can go to college now. Like, isn't that like automatically a better world that we're living in now than we ever have? So when you get nervous about how things are going, look on the bright side because it's getting better and better. So when we think about the HoloMovement, we think about our inner, like trying to create a wave of like inner love and peace and excitement and everything and hope. It's almost like we got to balance our own energy, and then we have to balance the masculine and feminine, right? Within the world, within yourself, within your relationships. And then there's this tricky part where you have 3 or more. And once you master that, it kind of goes in a wave. And the HoloMovement is so incredible because they're actually tackling that idea. And David Gershom is working on peace on earth by 2030. It's like, we actually have to do this. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh yeah, okay. And he got this many organizations to work on a single project. And that is incredible. That is incredible. But how does it happen? Like what because we need to tie ourselves together. You know what I mean? We're not these massive corporations in massive countries. We're like organizations, right, that have to be keen on how do we work together. And that was one of the things that I noticed in the HoloMovement conference that Deb organized. Was I walked into that conference and suddenly I felt the unity within that. People were kind to each other. They were loving. And it was almost like that cup that we saw on the first slide. It's like they had already filled their cup. They were already healed and happy and whole, and they had extra to run over on everybody else. So I think that's somewhat the goal. And so the next goal is for us as a movement across the world with different languages, different ideas, to come together and be strong together. one of the things that I'm contributing is a group of citizen scientists and programmers and people that are saying, how do we get there faster? And one of our conclusions is, why don't we study the bell curve of the people who are already there, that little circle right there with the number one, those are the people that are on this call. You guys are the evolutionary leaders, right? That are leading this wild consciousness shift where you're like, oh, wow, we are all one. This is wild. Those people need to be studied because they can help the rest of the bell curve move into that understanding, right? So it's like the 4-minute mile. So how do we do that? And we're building systems to help us share and compare our best resources and look for patterns. Because once 100 of us or more, whatever the tipping point is, have this understanding, it's inevitable that the rest just falls into place, right? Right? The resistance to love stops. So stories are what really changed the world, and we encourage all of you to tell the stories that have changed your life and changed your understanding of the way we are, and as a group, as a HoloMovement. That's really the key. And it's important to bank our wisdom, and it's also important to experience, right, what it means to feel unified, like I did in that conference where we all felt like, yeah, we're on the same page. Because consciousness, you guys, cannot be left out. It is fundamental to everything that we experience in this world. When we did the rice experiment, it was like hate was rotting and love was not rotting. So it's like, we know that consciousness is the elephant in the room today, right? And so, you know, one of the cool things about the HoloMovement conference is they had an entire group of people who were not at the conference that were holding the field for us while we were in the conference. That's science, you guys. That's not wishful thinking. That is real science. So when you're doing that meditation or taking that walk, and when you're being in gratitude with the woman at the cash register, that matters. It actually adds up. And I hope that as a movement, we start to organize our best resources better. And I hope we invite the world into these experiences. So for example, the Peace on Earth team, you know, they've got this band of like whatever, 20 organizations. And they're like, okay, the way to do peace on Earth is to do actions, like actually experience what it is to be empowered and not a victim, what it is to feel oneness, what it is to take care of, you know, to feel unity, abundance, love, all these things, to have faith that this is happening, right? And so this is really great because they're doing it in these Peace on Earth zones around the world, and they're actually practicing. So they have like these people that participate in this actually have to practice something that empowers themselves, right? It's like, what is it, right? Actually. So when we get software like LightNet and other software, it's how do we take these stories of empowerment and how do we organize our best resources, and how do we invite more people to also become empowered or feel love or be abundant? And, you know, at LightNet, we take finding your purpose seriously, and we want to map those things because a lot of you on this call have found your purpose, and that really is the joy factor, the love factor, the fun factor that makes everything else in life fall together in this mission. And we were talking about this at a lunch afterwards, the HoloMovement. They're like, we have to make this joyful. That's really the most important part. And it's true, because when you're in joy, that's when the synchronicities happen. That's when the like red carpet goes out, right? That's when you meet people and all the synchronicities happen. And then you care about taking care of your body, and you make money because you're in your purpose, and you figure out your special abilities. So anyway, I'll just close by thanking everyone again for being part of this mindset. The HoloMovement is a mindset. It's an aha moment. It's an understanding, and it's also the urge to get your fingers dirty and be like, I can be in a room where I don't agree with everyone, and I can know that we're close to building an orchestra of different instruments playing a beautiful, beautiful song that will carry across the world.
Wow. want to encourage everybody to join LightNet, her organization. We're going to do another show together in a couple of weeks, but go to lightnet.org. Now, many of us do Light Touch, so maybe do Light Touch while you're going to LightNet. And she's got really cool stuff here. And there we are. And she's on Global Peace Tribe and Portal to Ascension and Conscious Awakening Network and Alan Steinfeld's New Realities. We all are catching the wave of Zenka Caro and the good news that you have. And you really combine your scientific understanding with your absolute beautiful, optimistic understanding that things are really happening in wonderful ways. So everybody come play with Zenka.
And thank you so much, Zenka, for acknowledging what we called the A-team. That came from the term away team, of the people who were not with us in Sedona, but either had wanted to be there and circumstances kept them away, or for some other reason were not able to join us. They had a WhatsApp group and they shared about all that they were doing to hold us in their hearts and in their consciousness, in their prayers. And we had people who were singing for us every day. And I love that you said, this is science, this makes a difference, because that acknowledges that every single member of the Global Peace Tribe is making a difference. Just with your presence here this evening and from week to week, gathering and supporting with your hearts all of the incredible presenters that come on here. Thank you, Zenka, for the amazing work that you're doing. I loved information. It's the new oil. Does that mean we have to get off that too?
Yeah. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. You guys that are listening today, you guys are the leaders. So yeah, shine your bright light, because that's what the world is waiting for. They just want to step into a better story, and you guys are telling the better story. You're living the better story. You're being the better story. And so yeah.
What a light you are. LightNet is perfect.
Thanks.
It looks like Scott is frozen.
It looks like Scott is frozen. Is that even
But there he's
possible?
back.
You're back, brother.
Okay, he's back. He's
My
back.
internet froze for a moment. That, like, oh no, not now, not now, please. I'm doing a show. Hey, everybody, we're going to get a lot more Zenka on the Awakening World on Wednesday night, May 24th. So mark your calendars. I mean, hopefully you come to all of our shows, but Wednesday night, May 24th, we're going to have Zenka, and we're going to probably have Altair joining us again as well. But it'll be an evening of LightNet and a little light touch on the Awakening World on Wednesday night, May 24th. So Zenka, we'll look forward to seeing you then.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Scott.
There's so many comments. I'm just going to read two. Ayada writes, Zenka, I am just thrilled every time you join us on the Global Peace Tribe. Your crystal clear and enthusiastic energy is so contagious. And Roger writes, or actually Bonnie writes, Zenka, your joy is contagious. So that's two people. You're contagious, dear.
Good.
we don't have to worry about being contagious with that pandemic thing anymore. We all want to catch Zenka. You know, have you caught?
You guys are causing me to feel that. So I feel like the contagion is starting from you guys, and it's like I get contagious about.
That's the HoloMovement.
There it is. That's right. Don't worry about COVID. Catch the HoloMovement. There's
That's right.
There's a place for us. Thank you, Zenka.